皆さん、おはようございます。ガツロジャです。えっと、今日は少し、科学論文、医療サイエンス論文執筆の概要について話します。時々、日本語の説明しますけど、メインは英語になります。すみません。So I'm going to give my presentation entitled Brief Overview on Scientific Writing and Publishing in Health Science. I'm Dr. Ngatu Roger from DR Congo, but working in Japan now. First of all, general considerations on scientific writing and publishing. So what is the purpose of a scientific paper or a scientific report? Why do we write papers? First of all, it is to share one's research work with other scientists in the field, and also reviewing research conducted by other scientists. So, before sharing what we have conducted as study, what we found in our study, so we also need to collect information, recent information on the same topic that our study, but conducted by other researchers. So to reach this goal, a scientific paper or report should inform, bring a new information from the finding of the study that we conducted. But it is not to impress the readers or other scientists. We bring them new information from our study outcomes. And the scientific papers or reports should be easily readable, clear, accurate, and concise. So the people who are going to read my paper, my scientific report, should not have difficulty to understand the content. So it should be written clearly and accurately. So when we collect, for example, information on the same topic from other studies, other papers, it should be, if possible, the most recent papers, the most recent findings from other researchers. To be accepted by referees and cited by other scientists or researchers, the papers must not simply show the chronology of research work. So I do not have just to show what I did, but I need or we need to convince the readers or the audience that our finding, our paper is important and it is valid and relevant to the other scientists in the field. For this reason, a scientific paper should emphasize both the motivation and the outcome. Why did we conduct such study? And what were the findings from our study? Most scientific papers are chronologically structured in 5 or 4 sections, depend on the journal that you're targeting. And these 5 or 4 sections are called the ERAD. I for introduction, the introduction section of the paper, Rombun. It can be also called the background for other type of journals. 2, M for the material and method. For other journals, they just consider the section methods instead of material and method. And R stands for results, 結果. And 4, D, the discussion. In many journals, it is advised to combine discussion and conclusion. So conclusion should be included in the discussion. But some journals prefer to separate discussion as one section and conclusion as another section. So the IMIRAN stand for introduction, material and method, result, and discussion or conclusion. Soこのスライドでわかることは、最初は目的ですね。論文、科学論文の目的ですね。自分の、研究、自分たちの研究の内容、研究についてを知らせる。他の研究者たちにを知らせること。そして自分の研究の結果だけじゃなくて、他の研究者が同じトピックの研究をやった方々が、彼らはどんな、結果があったか、何が足りないかを知らせないかんですね。そして論文は書くときに、読む人が簡単にわかる英語を書かないかんですね。So it should be clear. そして、accurate は、古いデータじゃなくて、古いインフォメーションじゃなくて、できれば最近のインフォメーションを、使う論文を書くとき。そして、IMRAD は、論文の中にあるセクションですね。Introduction, Material and Method, Result, Discussion, Conclusion. One of the important steps when writing a scientific report or paper is the literature search. So we need to collect papers, reports in the topic of our study that we can use to write our paper. But we need to be aware of the existence of fraudulent web pages, websites that were created not for good purpose, and also the predatory journals. Some journals were created just for making money. They are not concerned by the quality of the content of the papers, but just collect money. But there are many reliable journals, reliable web pages that we can use. So better to use web pages, journals having online version and good reputations. Also, websites that includes a list of articles cited. So if one journal website or a publisher's website do not show articles published by those journals, but not cited by other scientists or researchers, so we can doubt of the quality of that web page or journal. We need also to check whether the journal of the web page is affiliated with a reputable or well-known educational research institution or an academic society. If the journal or the website does not have this kind of information, does not provide this kind of information, affiliated academic society, university, etc., so we can doubt of them. So the authors of the site should be identified. Those who are managing the website or the journal website should be identifiable. Information should be given in the website, and we can have the contact details in the site. And when writing scientific paper or a scientific report, first of all, we collect information in general, so we go wide. We can use databases that are quite common to everyone, then go deep. We can select better websites, better sources of information that can be reliable, not only for us, but also for readers, the audience, those who will be reading our reports, our paper. So we start the search with a broad initial exploration using general gateway sites, and then narrow the search and deepen the search with more specialized search engines of journals using the keywords that are in relation with your study topic. Now I would like to explain about writing the introduction section of a scientific paper or a scientific report. So what are the main contents of the introduction section? So we have the background. So we need to provide background information related to our studies topic and the significance, the importance of our study. And at the last part of the introduction section, we provide the objective of our study. So 論文の初めにのセクション、イントロダクションセクションには、メインのコンテンツはバックグラウンドですね。研究のバックグラウンド。そして、研究の、必要さですね。そして、研究の目的です。So in this section, we need to put the study in a context and provide the rationale, the importance of the study. What is already known about the study topic, and why is as researcher, our research question important. So in this section, introduction, the researcher cites previous studies that are relevant to their study paper, and they will probably indicate the problems with previous studies, especially the limitation of previous studies, and show how findings from their own study may help to solve the problems from previous studies, provide new knowledge, and influence the current practice or health policy related to our study topic. And then the researcher provides the objective of the study. So what is the goal of an introduction section? And what are the steps for writing an effective introduction section? So the goal or the objective of an introduction section is to provide a motivation for the work presented. So the persons who will read your paper, your research reports, should be motivated to continue reading the full paper by starting by the introduction. So it will stimulate the reader's interest and provide pertinent background information that will be necessary to understand the rest of the paper. If they do not understand well the introduction section, it will be difficult for them to move forward reading the full paper or to continue reading other sections. The steps. First, you need to begin by providing a concise background account, collecting previous studies information. You need to give a significance or the rationale of your study. Introduce pertinent literature. Select good literature, good papers from good publishers. State the objective of your study. State clearly your hypothesis. If you have one or two hypotheses, you can provide them. And if you use abbreviations or specialized technical terms, you need to explain them or to provide full terms before providing an abbreviation. About writing an effective introduction section, there are two concepts: the object and the task. An introduction is clear and logic when it separates what other authors, other researchers have done in the past, what we as researchers now have done in our study, and what the current paper covers, means the objective of our study for which we are writing a paper. The task clarifies what others have done and what the researchers who are writing the paper have done as a scientist, and the object of the paper prepares the readers to understand the main aim of our study. For the task, we use whoever did the work, whoever who conducted the study, other researchers, and some among our research team as the subject of the sentence. If I was alone in conducting the study, only one person, I cannot say I did this. No. Instead of that, we should write we. We conducted a study, etc. Or the authors conducted a study. And in general, it is advised to use verbs that express a research action. For example, we measured the level of blood glucose, or we measured the blood pressure, etc. We assessed. And we need to set that verb in the past tense, the past simple in general. So, introduction section を書くときに、タスクとオブジェクトのコンセプトがあります。タスクは、他の研究者がやったこと、そして私たち、何人かの研究グループのメンバーがやったこと、そしてオブジェクトは目的ですね。今の研究の目的、何だったか。それは書かないかんですね。そして書くときに動詞がほとんど過去ですね。過去形はよく使います。半過去じゃなくて過去形、past tense を使います。We measured, we assessed とかね。よく使う動詞ですね。Example, to investigate, to compare, to determine, to explore, to measure, to clarify, to estimate. For example, we investigated the determinant or the risk factors of PTSD in tsunami survivors' population. We compared the effect of chemotherapy and physical exercise on obesity. We determined the epidemiological profile of malnutrition among refugees, etc. So these papers clarifies the role played by nurses to promote mental health. So this study aims to estimate malaria incidence and determine associated factors. So those are action verbs that are commonly used when writing the introduction section, especially the objective, the aim of the study. This is the last slide, just an example of a paper that we published a few years ago, where you have the title of the paper published by Malaria Journal, and you have the list of authors, the abstract, and then you have the introduction section. For this journal, background is used instead of introduction. So we provide first information on malaria from WHO, and we also have some epidemiological data that we provide at the beginning of the introduction section, and at the end of the introduction section you have the study purpose, the study aim. We search, or we aim to determine malaria incidence and associated factors, etc. So this is the end of my talk today. Thank you. ありがとうございます。